Okay. Hello, guys. Again, it's Tabs, and welcome to Tabs Hope Up channel. I was here like 2 hours before, or 2 hours ago, and we were talking about HIV and AIDS. In case you missed that video, it is still on my YouTube channel. Go and watch it. Talk to our girl Wairimo sister in case you're going through stigma, in case you have HIV and you do not know how to go through it, all about it. Talk to our girl. She really gave us detail on where and how you can find her. Now, as I promised you, I am back here again with our beautiful mama, sis Joan Alusa, and she's here to talk to us about the DV. DV means domestic abuse.
Violence. Yes.
Yeah, and she
Mhm.
went through a lot in her marriage. And
Yeah.
because we have decided we're not going to sit and watch another woman,
Yeah.
losing her life, committing suicide, and killing her
Yeah.
kids, the husband, all a man because of the
Mhm.
DV. And this topic is for everybody, in case you are a
Yes.
man, because we are
Yeah.
not saying too. We women,
Yeah.
yes, this
Even
is what
men.
we have bad
It's
women too who are
yes.
abusing their husband. So
Mm.
this topic is open for both men and women. In case
Mm.
you've been abused, by the way, you can reach out into my inbox or you can
Yes.
follow Joanne Arusa and we can figure
Yes.
out how we can help
Mm.
you. And
Yes.
again, we are not here to advocate for divorce, but
Divorce.
also we are not here to advocate for abuse in marriage. And
Yes. Mhm.
abuse is abuse, whether it is physical abuse, emotional abuse,
Mhm.
financial abuse,
Yes.
spiritual abuse. Abuse
Yes.
is an abuse,
It's
and
just
we
an
cannot
abuse.
define it any other better. So
Yeah.
stay tuned, comment.
Yes.
In case you have a question, please feel free to ask us a
Mhm.
question. And please allow me to let our guest introduce herself. Karibu sana, and please tell us who you are and where you are from.
Thank you so much, Tabs. I
Karibu.
am Joanna Luce. I am a Kenyan.
Mhm.
I was born in a village called Shiru. It is in western
Mhm.
part of Kenya, and
Uh-huh.
I got married when I was around 25 years. I wasn't very young,
Mhm.
and I was born in a family of 8. I
Oh,
being the firstborn. Yes,
oh,
I
wow. Okay.
yes I am the
Mhm.
firstborn.
Okay.
So, yes, and I'm a gender-based violence survivor, and I'm also an ambassador currently.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Good.
Yes, yes.
Wow. Asante
So,
sana. Thank you for
um,
your interest. So are you currently in Nairobi, or which part of Kenya do
yes,
you live in?
I am currently in Nairobi
Mhm.
at a place called Lakisama, and
Okay.
this is where I do my business. This
Mhm.
is where I
Oh God, I just hope we are not going to lose her. Oh. Yeah, sometimes guys, this is the challenges I go through when I'm connected with guests from Kenya. Internet sometimes becomes a problem. Let's hope and see if she will be able to come back. Let's hope the internet will not let us down. She has a very amazing story of how she went through domestic violence, how she nearly lost her life through domestic violence. And we are here today so we can encourage other people who are going through abuse in marriage. And when we say abuse, it does not necessarily means um, physical abuse, it means any.
oh
Karibu
so
Joan, tumekupoteza.
yeah. Sorry, I was wondering. It's the network, but I've just turned in.
Oh, yeah,
I
okay.
was
Oh, I
sorry.
just hope itakuwa tu patient na sisi until we the end of
I'll
this.
change this. Okay.
Mhm.
Yes. So I'm sorry for everything that has just happened.
No, it's okay.
Uh, yes, I am Joan, the way I had said, and I
Mhm.
went through gender-based violence.
Mhm.
And before I start on where I started the issue of gender-based violence, I
Mhm.
got a man, and I was married to this man. In fact, he was a church member. He was an
Mhm.
evangelist, and he
Mhm.
was a pastor. And this man, I loved him because of his commitment to the work of God. I remember there are several occasions that we do evangelism at Ambassador. There are
Mhm.
times that we would have evangelism along the streets, preaching. So I loved the zeal, and I knew that this man is a born again man.
Mhm.
So I entered into marriage. Though before I entered into marriage, we had to go for counseling, but
Mhm.
my spiritual parents were against this marriage. In fact, my spiritual father said he's not seeing us going far with this relationship. But being a young girl, and I was
Mhm.
brought up in a Christian family, I
Mhm.
wasn't exposed to too much issues or men. So I had loved this man. In fact, he came in and I just loved him. So
Mhm.
even when my pastor told me that he's seeing as if we are not going to have a better life, I
Mhm.
ignored that call, that sign. So I entered into marriage,
Mhm.
and from the onset, there were red flags. But there were two things that were holding me from getting out of that marriage. The
Mhm.
first thing was that I'm a firstborn, and
Mhm.
every time I would experience violence in my house, my
Mhm.
mother used to tell me that if I leave this family, my siblings, my sisters and my brothers would drop because now I have to be a role model, being the
Mhm.
first daughter. So
Mhm.
I was called to be patient in that marriage. So later on, I continued trying to persevere in that marriage. I
Mhm.
would get the beatings. The first time I had just given birth to my daughter, she was very young. And then the man started beating me. I had to leave her and go to find rescue at my uncle's place. Later on, they said because of the child, I come back to the house. So I came back to the house and we continued. But this issue wasn't something that could be put to an end. I remember there were our best couple
Mhm.
that had stood with us during our marriage. They used to come and even sleep in our house. In fact, before they came in, let me tell you how our wedding was conducted.
Mhm.
When I now decided that I want to do our wedding. I'm
Mhm.
sorry that I had gone before
It's
telling
fine.
you what
It's okay.
happened.
It's okay. Mhm.
So when we planned for the wedding,
Mhm.
and my pastors didn't come for the wedding, but we did the wedding in the church where the young man was. We were coming from different churches. He was
Okay.
fellowshipping in a certain church, and I was also fellowshipping in a certain church. So
Okay.
when we decided to do the wedding, my pastor didn't come, but
Mhm.
we conducted the wedding in the man's church, whereby the only person who came from our church was the chairman, my youth chairman who
Mhm.
came. So
Mhm.
on this wedding, there were two things that happened. One, the man didn't pay for my dowry. He
Uh-oh.
promised the parents that he will pay the dowry immediately after wedding. And then number two,
Mhm.
the certificate that we were given, it's like it wasn't returned to the attorney general. So it's like the wedding that we had wasn't a real wedding because there was no
Was
certificate,
Mhm.
and it wasn't a cultural the way in an African society women are supposed to be paid, the dowry is supposed to
Yeah.
be paid.
Mhm.
So I was in this marriage with the hope that one day maybe the man would come, realize, and pay the dowry. And at the same time, now that I'm becoming patient, I remember there are times that I would talk to my best couple, and they would tell us that maybe
Mhm.
it's because we are new in marriage. That's why, because he comes from a different background and I also come from a different background.
Mhm.
We that is the reason why we are having that division in our family. We are not having peace. So
Yeah.
as time goes by, we'll adjust to each other and come into oneness. So and we will be having peace. So I continued, but things weren't working out well.
Mhm.
It came to a time he hit me so bad. I had to go visit my parents.
Wow. Mhm.
I had to go visit my parents. And then after visiting my parents, he came, apologized, said sorry for what had happened. Are you getting me?
Yeah, I'm getting. I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I went to my parents. My parents told me now that the man has come and apologized. Just go back, because if you continue staying in this family, you are causing the other siblings not to continue in their marriage. So I continued,
Mhm.
and during that time, I came back and he tried to apologize. But when I came into the house, still he told me, why am I showing myself to the parents and trying to show the weakness of our family to my parents? And even he quarreled me. "Well, how comes that you're telling my parents and yet they don't tell you about what they are going through?" So I ignored that call. So it came to a time when again
Mhm.
I had, it was on a Saturday and I was preparing to go to school. I told you I have a school.
Yeah.
So I was preparing to go to school. So in that process, I went to the bathroom and I wanted to go put on the clothes and then go to school. But
Mhm.
something funny, he refused me to enter into the bedroom. He didn't want me to enter into the bedroom so that I put on my clothes. And when I kept on knocking the door, he came out furiously and it's like he wanted to hit me. So I decided to go back, went into the sitting room,
Mhm.
and sat on the couch. And when I sat on the couch, I had a house help who had put tea on the table. So I tried to take the tea and the bread, and he snatched the bread from my hands, threw it to the chicken that were around. And
Mhm.
in that process, when he threw the chicken from the bread to the chicken, I asked him what is happening. And then he wanted to grab me and hit me. So I tried to hold into the lasso that I was
Mhm.
wearing. And then I moved using my back from ni kirudi kinyume nyume.
Yeah.
So when I was going at the door, he wanted to hit me. He wanted to stab me, and in that process I locked the door from behind. So I was out with my lasso and I didn't have clothes. I didn't have my inner pants and all that.
Mhm.
So something just told me, pick the dresses from the line and use it. So I took the clothes that were on the line. They were very wet, and I went to his mother's place. When I was at his mother's place, he decided now to call his mother, and he told her that I'm not supposed to be at his place because the mother is not the one who married me. It is him who married me. So the mother told me to come back to Nairobi. When I came back to Nairobi, the man didn't try to humble himself. It was just too arrogant. It's like what I had done, it wasn't very good.
Mhm.
And this violence continued, it continued all throughout, and it wasn't something very nice for me. I was feeling um, so low, and my self-esteem went down. I never thought of even leaving, because every time, at any time, the man couldn't show you that he's going to hit you, but at any time he would just come out furiously and he slaps you, hits you over something that maybe you have not done. So
Mhm.
the last time for me to make up my mind that now I'm leaving, I remember we had just closed the schools, and I had a very long day giving the parents report books. So we finished handing over the report books at around 2. So in
Mhm.
that process, I decided to go take some mattresses and some soap for my for my children, because we used to have some bed bugs in my family,
Mhm.
in my house. So I decided that I want to take all the beddings, go
Mhm.
burn them, the mattresses, and then I put a new mattress. So I took a new mattress and then I put it on the kids' bed. And then I went, burnt everything. And during that process of doing the cleaning and everything, it took me time to up to around 7 in the evening. So
Mhm.
while I was in the bathroom washing my hands, from what I had done, he knocked the door using his leg. And if I wanted to know that now today there must be trouble, he never used to knock the door using his hand. He used to knock the door using his leg. It's like a kick. So when I had that kick, I asked my the second born, to
Mhm.
go open the door for him, and then my daughter opened the door, and he just came in, slept on the couch. So I came from the bathroom, I
Mhm.
greeted him, but he answered on a low tone, and I asked him, "Do you have 50 shillings so that you may help me go and buy flour?" And
Mhm.
he told me, "I've always asked you not to ask me for any money in this house, and you are here asking me for money." I told him, "So I'm sorry." And then I remembered I had 2,000 shillings that a parent had sent me on M-Pesa. So I went to the M-Pesa shop and withdrew the man. So the attendant to the M-Pesa shop gave me 2,000 shillings that were two notes, 1,000
Mm.
and 1,000.
Yeah.
So the 1,000, when I came with the 1,000 to the shopkeeper told me that she didn't have a change. So she
Mm.
went round looking for change. So I
Mhm.
had taken some time, and the man flashed me, and I said, now because the shop is just next to the plot,
Mhm.
and I'm going back to the house, there's no need of calling him back. So I hurriedly did everything, bought mala and bought the flour, and
The flower.
went back to the yes,
Mhm.
and went back to the house. So when I was in the house, he was just very furious. I prepared the ugali for him and gave it to him because my children were taking green grams and rice.
Mhm.
But he took the milk, the maziwa mala,
Mhm.
the sour milk, and he gave it to the children. And he just took the vegetables and the ugali and went direct to sleep. So because I had taken this liquid soap, I
Mhm.
decided as the others go to sleep, I mixed the soap. So the
Mhm.
foam was too much while I was mixing it, and when it came up, the measurement that I had measured, the foam went up. So I had to wait for the foam to cool down so that I may add more water. And in
Mhm.
that process, I sat on the couch and I fell asleep. So he came back, banged the door, and I picked my phone on the table
Mhm.
and tried to press so that I may see what is the time. So
Mhm.
I had done the second mistake. So I finished up and then went back to sleep. So as I was on the bed, he asked me, "There are two things that you have done. One, you have gone to the shop and you've taken much time. Well, you were discussing with your boyfriends. And then number two, you've come back to the house and you are chatting with your boyfriends on phone while I'm asleep." I told him no, because I had known the mood wasn't very good at that time.
Mhm.
So I told him, "No, kuja pole pole." I thought it was a joke. And because I had put the net around our bedding, so he jumped out of the bed and went, took scissors, and it's like he wanted to stab me with the
Oh,
scissors.
oh.
Yes, I used to mend clothes. So I used to have these scissors, the longer scissors. And I yelled on my loudest voice. So as I was yelling, he tried to pull the net, but
Mm.
I was hesitant. I tried to put the net so that it may not come
Mhm.
out of the bed. So we were in that process. And then he dropped the scissors and he pulled the net and he picked me from the bed where I was and he started hitting me. He hit me so hard that as I was yelling, neighbors came, and even my children, my elder daughter started knocking the door. So In that process, when he had the daughter yelling, asking him, "You are hitting my mother, and my mother is the one who's been taking care of me, is the one who's been paying the fees for me. You want to kill her? I'm not ready to remain the orphan." So in that process, I think because of the noise, he decided to open the door, and we were having a steel door. And so when he opened, I saw my daughter trying to show me using a hand. It's like she was saying, "Go back and
Mhm.
lock yourself." So
Mhm.
that is what I did. I went back in that room and then I
Mhm.
locked myself. But I had broken my mandible jawbone, my right mandible jawbone. I had also had some bruises on my face because of being hit on the
Eating,
hall,
yeah.
on the wall, and then my eye became red. It wasn't very good, though I had posted those photos on my Facebook, but somebody hacked the account and they deleted those photos. But I was so bad. So when it came I slept that night. So
Mhm.
the following day,
In
I
the
was
same
still,
house.
yes, in the same house, but I locked him outside. So it's like he slept in the sitting room.
Mhm.
So the following day, I stood up, went to the best couple, and to the best couple is where they called Sister Diana
Mhm.
Kamande. So Sister Diana Kamande called me, and I was referred to Nairobi Women's Hospital. That is
Mhm.
where I now started the process of healing the mandible jawbone. They gave me so many medicines, and they induced me some medicines to ease the pain. And in that process, I took around 2 weeks in that hospital. And when I was in that hospital, can you imagine? He never called me to ask me where I was. The only call that I received was from a church member. I
Mhm.
didn't tell you that we used to have a big church, and I
No.
was a pastor's wife. I was a pastor's wife. So a church member who was taking over, she was the in the women department. She called me. "How comes that why a woman like you left your child and you've gone out just to do your own things?" It's like I had gone to do, I don't know, Uban Umalaya or what. I don't know the information that she was given,
Mhm.
but it was so bad. And then I asked her, "Do you know where I am right now?" But that thing really pained me. So after being discharged, I came back to the house. Coming back to the house, I met him in the corridor and he was
So you
accusing
are
me.
coming back to the same house that you
Yes,
nearly
I'm coming back.
in.
Yes, yes, I came back to the same house. And I met him at the corridor and he asked me, "Why did you allow me to do this to you?" So it's like
Now he's blaming
all the
you.
fault. Eh?
Now he's blaming you for the
Yeah,
act
he's blame.
being
Yes,
treated.
exactly. He was blaming me for him inflicting me and him hitting me. And that pain was just too much. Something came into my mind. You are going to sleep in the same bedroom where you were hit. Another thing that came into my mind, that this man is not even feeling sorry for what he did. And yet I still had some bandages on my hands
Mhm.
where they used to induce me. I felt so much pain. I just walked out of that door. And in my mind, I was thinking of the 2 week of having just 2 weeks outside for me to heal and go back, because now you see you are a pastor's wife. You don't want people to know what is happening to you and the
Mhm.
bruises on the face. How will you explain to the members that now this is your pastor who has hit me? So what came into my mind thereafter, when I was at that place, he had already taken me to the children's department, where he asked that he may be given some money. I may give him some money to take care of the children, and they told him no. The younger son was 2 years at that time, and they told him if the mother is the one who's been taking care of the children, doing everything for them, then she is the one who is eligible of taking care of the children. So that is what I did, and that is how they gave me back the children, and life wasn't very good.
Joanne, I have a couple questions for you. And
Yes.
these questions, I know they will connect us to so many cases of to so many people that have gone through the same thing.
Yes.
I want you to tell us what were those first red flags that you saw and
Mm.
you ignored them or you thought itakuwa
Mm.
sawa. Those first red flags.
First red flags, the man was very insecure. He wouldn't
Yeah,
leave me in a
insecurity.
insecurity. He
Mm-hmm,
wouldn't leave me in any company of anybody. In fact, when we are walking on the roads, he
mm-hmm,
used to be close to me so that I don't have any time or anything to talk to somebody,
mm-hmm.
especially when we are with him. To some people, they thought that it was too much love
Love.
because yeah, they were thinking that maybe because of this man is always with the wife,
Mm-hmm.
that's it shows that this man loves the wife. But the truth was, he was fearing that maybe I would be left in the hands of some people and his secrets would be known. And then another thing that
Mm-hmm.
I realized that it was a red flag, provision in the family, whether he's having money, whether he's not having money, he wouldn't provide for anything in that house.
What?
He just, yes, he just left all the responsibility to me. I pay the rent, I pay the kids' school fees, take care of the children. And even when the landlord could, if the landlord could call him, he would
Mhm.
even refer the landlord to me and refer the landlord to me and ask the landlord, have you called mama? In fact, that is the question he used to ask the landlord. So most of the things I used to do, the reason why I was fearing, one, I told you I was the firstborn, and I was thinking that if I get out of that family, my other siblings would also get out of the family. Then number two, I was also a pastor's wife. Now you are trying to hide because there are those that you have brought up in salvation, and you don't
Mhm.
want them to see that people who are in salvation are suffering.
Yeah.
So I decided to just continue with that marriage so that at least uh, maybe I would help somebody later on.
Mhm.
So those are some of the red flags. And then another thing
Mhm.
that that I would say about the red flag, he used to hit me so much. And every time, just a small mistake, a slap. And it continued. Sometimes he would even ask us and tell us that one day I will burn this house. I'll pour paraffin on this house, and I'm going to kill you. I'll kill everyone. So those are the threats that were always there. And then he wouldn't allow me to sit in the company of people. If it is a meeting, I
Mhm.
have to tell him about the meeting that I'm supposed to be attending. And if I'm to attend, I have to explain what we are going to do.
Mhm.
You getting me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Sorry, I felt, yeah.
That's fine. Mhm.
So most of the time, I
Mhm.
remember he would try to avoid, or he would try as much as he could so that I don't work in association with people.
Mhm.
He would try as much as he can not to provide for me. I think he was thinking if I would have some more money, maybe that would also make me. I don't know what was happening. It's like the little that I could get, I have to use it so that I may not have anything extra
Mhm.
within me. And then he tried to avoid me from meeting my family members, meeting my
Wow.
people. Like, yes, I remember we could go to his place and my place. We could just take a vehicle that was costing like 300 shillings.
Mhm.
But I remember I couldn't go to my place. I would go to his place and not go to my people. He tried to hinder us from having
Mhm.
the family relationship. So most of the time, if my sisters, my brothers could come, he would try as much as he can so that they may leave. And if he doesn't want them, he just walks out so that they may just see that he's not happy with their coming, and he would. they would leave. So there are so many things that were happening that I would say they were red flags
Mm-hmm.
towards our marriage. Yes.
Yeah,
And
because
then he refused to go for any counseling. There are times that even our best couple would come and he wanted to counsel with us, but he refused to for any counseling. Anybody that would maybe you would go talk to and maybe they want to come and mediate, most of the time he didn't want to listen to them.
wow, Joanne,
Yes,
according to what you have told us, for me, I
yes,
see three kind of abuse that you went through. You
yes,
went through physical abuse.
yes,
You went through financial abuse because this man was
yes,
not providing for you.
yeah,
And I think you also went like spiritual abuse, like it's you
mm,
being abused because you are a church woman, you are a
yes,
pastor's wife,
yes, yes,
and that title itself made you got abused.
mm, yes,
You know
yes,
what I mean? Like, yeah, you also you have that thing like I'm a pastor's wife. Where do
yeah,
I
that's it.
go? What do I
Yeah,
say? I mean, what will
mm,
people say? People will
exactly.
not see us as a good example. And
Exactly.
I have another question for you. Did
Yes.
he? Okay, I know you have said one scenario whereby your
Mm,
daughter was like talking and begging him not to
mm,
kill you,
yes.
and I mean, before that, I know there were other incidents that he abused you. Did he
Mm.
do this often in front of your children?
Yeah, there are so many times that he used to do that. You know that that's the reason why up to date my children have never desired to go back to him because of the scenarios that he used to hit me.
Mhm,
Sometimes
mhm,
they would cry trying to beg, and then even when I went to his place, I remember leaving the kids behind, and my son who got burned on a jiko, and it's like. Nobody was there to take care of him and even take him to the hospital. So when I came back, it's when now I had to take care of him, make sure that he gets the medication and all that. But their father wasn't even uh, caring about
involved.
what. Yeah. So my children, and even the days when I had just left for to go and look for a house where I could just find peace for some time, and
Mhm.
when I left them in the house,
Mm,
the
house, yeah.
kids weren't secure. They were saying that most of the time he would beat them. And you see, there were these beatings were there, and it made the children not to have that free life or freedom of
Mhm.
expression. Sometimes, yes,
And yeah, let me ask you another question. Because
yes,
he never provided, I mean,
yes,
you have said you always provided, you paid rent. Was he
yes.
working? And if he was working, did you ever get to know where he was taking his money?
Yeah, I guess he had his own plans, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't tell me where he was taking the money. There's
Mm-hmm.
nothing he would just tell you that now I'm doing this. If you try to ask anything, you will get a slap, you will get a hit. So there are things that I was just trying to avoid
Mm-hmm.
from asking him where he was taking the money. And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want most of the time to follow him on his finances because he had already warned me. In fact, he called me one day and sat me in the bedroom and told me, from now henceforth, don't ask me for anything from this house. So that is how I used to survive.
Wow, I am so sorry about what you went through. And because we still have so many questions, I'm
Yes,
still gonna ask you because the
yes,
reason we are doing this is because we want to talk to a woman out there or a man who is going through abuse. We want to
yes,
tell them you do not have to die. And I
yes,
am
you
so
don't.
happy because you have mentioned you
Mm,
were a pastor's wife. And we
yes, yes,
have through Facebook actually, because I think without Facebook, we would
mm,
not have learned this thing. It is that time now
exactly. Mm,
pastors' wife are coming out. And that's why I personally take social media positively. There are a lot of
positively, yes,
negative out there, but it
yes,
depends on what do you want to take from this social media street. So we
exactly.
have seen so many pastors' wives coming out
Yes, mm.
telling us what they have been going through. And because we know some of these pastors were like, are you serious? You know,
Yes.
like they
Mm,
have gone through hell. They are
mm.
going through, like, unspeakable abuse.
Yes, exactly.
We have
Yes.
seen those famous celebrity. Also, they are now
Yes.
coming out
Mm,
and talking
mm,
these things.
mm.
Now, I
Yes.
want you to tell us.
Yes.
I have seen two things that made you stay.
Yes.
Being a pastor's wife, that is a
Yes.
church. And I
Yes.
have seen for the last 2 weeks, church
Mm.
imechapwa sana. And I want
Exactly.
us to go there. And
Yes.
also, you have told us about like the parent, your
Mm.
family. You being
Yes,
the
my friend.
first child from the family,
Yes.
you have to
Mm.
set example.
Yes.
And I think as a society, and especially our African setup, we don't
Mm.
accept the fact that me, the way I am from a very big family, we are 10 in
Mm.
our family. I'm number
Mm.
9. Me, the way
Wow.
I was created is completely
Mm.
different from my other sister.
Yes, from the other
If
sisters.
maybe
Yes.
God never meant me to get married, because not
Yes.
everybody can be a wife. It is a calling,
Exactly.
right?
It is a calling.
If
Mm.
yeah, it's not everybody can be a pastor, not
Mm.
everybody can be a teacher. So we
Yes,
forget
exactly.
these things, like being actually, and firstborn, you guys
Mm.
go through a lot, because it's
Exactly.
mumewekwa hapo mkue example. Maybe your mom
Yes.
wants to be a teacher so that
Yes.
the other siblings can fall in the same lineup. Forgetting
Mm.
being a firstborn does not mean I should be a
Mm.
teacher, I should be a
Exactly.
doctor, I should be a
It's true.
successful mkulima. So because
Mm.
I have seen two things that happen to you, church
Yes.
and family, and I
Yes.
will put family in a society,
Mm.
zimefanya, or they have caused so many people the death we are seeing today, the
Yes. Mm.
depression, the
Yes.
suffering, the agonies
Yes.
in the marriage. Church,
Mm.
and when we say church, we're talking, we're not trying to blame the church, but we
Yes,
are
very true.
trying to let people know, is even our pastor, me being a
Mm.
church member does not mean siwezi ambia pastor ai hapa
Yes.
hapa hapana,
Mm.
because we are all
Exactly.
human beings. And when we
Yeah,
go
man.
to that
Mm.
church, we are
Mm.
presenting ourselves before God individually, right? And
Exactly.
after that,
Mm.
you as a
Mm.
pastor unaenda kwako, tabs naenda kwangu, kwa ndoa yangu.
Yes. Yes.
So we want to know, when
Mm.
is the church supposed to say, hey, now this one,
Mm.
I would rather be talking to a single mom
Yes.
rather than
Mm.
conduct a funeral
Mm.
of
Yeah,
someone
very true.
who would be
Yeah,
alive with us today.
very
Also,
true.
we have
Mm.
church that has discriminated single mothers a lot.
Exactly. Exactly.
As
Mm.
you become a single woman,
Mm.
now church na wewe kwisha. In case
Yes.
maybe you were led in praise and worship, unaambiwa step
Yes.
down. In
Mm.
case ulikuwa wa Mothers Union,
Mm.
CWA, you are being
Yes.
told now, not
Yes.
anymore.
Yes.
Those married women will be
Mm.
treating you differently, because they're gonna be
Exactly.
like, says you are single, you're gonna snatch
Mm.
my husband.
Exactly.
These who are married, their husband will be like, I don't wanna see you with Joan. Joan si
Yes.
mwanamke mzuri,
Yes.
aliachana na bwana
Yeah.
yake, ni kichwa
Mm.
ngumu na
Mm.
atakufunza
Mm.
kwa kichwa ngumu. And all
Yes.
these things, Joan, they have
Yes.
made so many women stick in those
Mm.
abusive
Mm.
marriage relationship,
Very true.
because be single, we don't embrace them, we don't
Yes.
accept them, we see them
Mm.
like a disorder somehow.
Mm.
And now, because you are a pastor, can you please talk to us?
Yeah, Tabs, what you are just talking about is the truth about what happens in the church.
Mm-hmm.
Being a pastor's wife, it wasn't easy for me to walk out of that house.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't easy because one, you're fearing what will the church say, and
Mm-hmm.
then single mothers are rated as people who are immoral.
Mm-hmm.
Their character isn't good. Those people who leave their marriages are people maybe who are in infidels, or they are adulterers. So
Mm-hmm.
if you leave your marriage, you are not a right woman. So everybody would try to avoid you.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing, that issue ya kuwa cheo kwa kanisa. Most of
Mhm.
the pastors' wives, they would rather hold on to an abusive marriage because of trying to hold on to that title. Because you know, when you are going to a certain place, maybe you are going in a bash somewhere, you are
Mhm.
given the highest seat. There is a place where you is reserved for you, and then you have at least a name. So most of them would try to hide everything, and because of that, in fear of uh, going back to that level of just being a mere member.
Mhm.
But I decided to become a mere member that is at peace than having a title
Mhm.
that is not very peaceful. I'm telling you, Tabi, there is a time that I even desired that I would just rather die. And
What?
ev- yes, not once, not twice. I remember there are times that there is a day I walk out from that house and I just started walking. I don't know what was happening to me. Okay, I found myself in town. And when
Mhm.
I sat in a hostel in town, I sat there up to around 11 p.m., which was not a time that I was supposed to
Mhm.
be going back to the house. I had a lot of pain in me. I used to take medicines or meprazole. Sometimes you just get out, you don't know what to do, you don't see the value of life. I even shaved my hair. I had to I had to put on like a grandmother. You see that, and that scenario where you don't see value in yourself, because now the one that you give in yourself, you give yourself financially, you give your time to make it, you give everything towards that thing, and still it isn't working for you. So I thought of that, and that's what I'm telling you. When the church is trying to be against that woman, the
Mhm.
church is trying to make that woman feel inferior. They
Mhm.
are killing that person indirectly.
Yep.
Somebody can tell you that maybe you can see me physically, maybe I'm still standing, but
Mhm.
inside me I'm dying a death that maybe somebody would wonder,
Or
how
maybe
can
you
this one?
died. Maybe you
Yes,
died like 10 years ago. You are a walking
you died. Yes, you are just a walking skeleton. People will ask you, why are you so thin nowadays? Why are you not happy? But you
dead.
just say, I've been praying. But inside you, you are dying. These people die inside,
Mhm.
trying to hide what they are going through. And then the society should not always blame that woman. In fact, I would rather say it is better a woman who has divorced or separated than that woman who is in that marriage and is dying,
Oh,
because
yeah.
that death will kill you earlier than the death that of being single on your own.
Exactly.
I told you I used to take omeprazole nearly every day because I used to have antacid. Every time I would have a stomachache that is not ending. There are times that I wouldn't eat. There are times that I wouldn't. I just don't feel like putting on
Mm.
nice dress. You just see yourself as something that is not needed in the society. And you see now that at the same time you've tried to go to your parents, you've tried to go to his parents, and it's like there is no solution. You go to the first couple, there is no solution. If you go to the pastors, they will tell you no, you have to stick to that marriage because God hates divorce. And if you leave that marriage, it means you will not be married to anybody, and you are not allowed also to be a person who is going to stand on the pulpit or on anywhere preaching.
Why?
I don't know,
I
and
will
it
ask
happened
you
to me.
as a pastor, because you are a pastor. Please allow me
Yes,
to ask you these tough questions. We have been
yes,
looking for pastors to ask this question, and here you are. You are right
yeah,
here with me, so please allow me to ask you these questions.
yes,
Why is
Tapping.
it that in church we
Yes,
see those people who are married like they are the most complete than that person who is single or divorced? Because why
I
would you
think
be told like you cannot, you cannot lead praise and worship, or you cannot, you cannot preach or stand in the altar and continue being Pastor Joan despite being divorced? The title, should not
Yes.
get off you. So why
Yes.
is it that starts tunafika hapo?
I think it is ignorance in the word of God,
Mm-hmm.
and this issue of I think it's, is it selfishness or what, where you only think about yourself but you don't
Mm-hmm.
think about the others.
About the
You
other
don't
part.
feel, yes, you don't feel for the other person on what they are also going through. You only look at your end to benefit yourself and not the seeing the pain or the solution to somebody's pain. And then something that I've come to realize also is because of the society, how the society has rated it. There have been no one who can stand and say these things should not be happening this way. Everybody thinks because the first person who taught it, it should continue to be like a culture where it
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't be done. People are taking it cultural and are not taking it in the image of Christ, the way
Mm-hmm.
Christ would have taught us. Because if Christ said that I have come, those people who are heavy laden, that I may give them rest, it
Mm-hmm.
means that even in that marriage, it shouldn't be like a burden on your shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
He
True.
came so that that burden may be uplifted off your shoulder. But we
Mm-hmm.
are in church, but still having those baggages and those luggages on our shoulders. And we forget that Christ has already done it. And
Mm-hmm.
then another thing, people specifically take a small portion of the scripture and forget about the others. Like in the book of Malachi, chapter 2, there
Mm-hmm.
is a place towards the end that says, "You have, you have done what? It's like you have been pouring your tears on the altar
Mm-hmm.
na mkanichosha na hiyo machozi." And then you ask how. The Lord says that it is because you have dealt treacherously with the woman of your youth. Alafu anasema hapo, I hate violence. It
Mm-hmm.
is scriptural. It
Yep.
is scriptural. But nobody will stand with that word on the pulpit and say
Nope.
that God hates violence,
Nope.
doing something evil to that woman, that the woman of your youth. In fact, God says it very clearly that the reason why I joined you as a man and a woman, it is for me, for you to bear siblings or to bear seeds that are going to last and they will worship me. It depends on the Bible that you're using. But the main important there is for us to bring up a generation that has the fear of God in them. But
Mm-hmm.
now, because of what the society has written, they forget about that verse and they jump to the verse of divorce.
Divorce. Yeah.
They forget about, yes, they forget about also when there is infidelity in the
Mm.
family. They
Yeah.
forget about that verse that even God hates adultery.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody will be asking you, did you see it? Prove. And they are waiting until that day when you see that man may be sleeping with that woman with your eyes. But if you see anything that may be a sign that shows that these people have
Mm-hmm.
an issue, that one they tell you it is an assumption, or maybe you are insecure, you are
Mm-hmm.
not you it's like you are carnal, you are carnally minded, you are not you are not spiritual. And those are the things that the church is trying to condemn people.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the people are not doing it the way I'm telling you. It is scripture. The word should be read from the book of Genesis to the book of Revelation, and every sentence in the Bible be
That's true.
applied. And
Uh-huh.
then,
Exactly.
uh, sorry, just to add on what you had said, on the issue of the church neglecting the women who have gone through divorce or who
Mm-hmm.
have separated and not giving them the title that they used to have before they separated. I also went through that. It is right now when I'm trying to pick up again because of people seeing what God is doing in my life. But the truth is, most of the time, I was neglected. I was even removed from the pastors' fellowship, the women, the pastors' women fellowship. I was
Mm-hmm.
removed from the WhatsApp group because of what I had. It's like I'm no longer a pastor's wife. I was also denied most of the pulpit. People who used to give me the pulpit to preach, they now denied me. Nobody wanted to greet you, praise the Lord the way they used to pray. Nasikia tu habari yako. It's like you are a sinner, an outcast.
An outcast. Yeah, that's the word.
And yes, an outcast. You've done an abomination in the society. It isn't very good. But right now, see what happened to Osinachi.
Mm-hmm.
The truth is, she was worshiping the Lord, but now
Kabisa.
behind the back. And now everybody's going on social media to tell, hey, she would have left the marriage. If you leave the marriage, they neglect you, they
Mhm.
condemn you, they
They
speak
condemn you.
evil again.
Actually,
They
they
even
condemn
do,
you.
eh?
They
They don't
condemn
give
you.
you
They
the pulpit.
crucify you. They throw stone
Yes,
at you.
they
Like,
throw stones at you. Huh? It is something so painful. I would rather advocate for that woman who is
mhm,
still going to worship God but at peace, because still the giftings, God does not deny you the giftings. The
no.
giftings will still be there. The gift that He has given to you, if it is the issue of preaching, you will still have that. In
Kabisa.
fact, you will preach better, because
Mhm.
now the things that were hindering you have now been removed from you.
Wow. Okay. Thank you so much, Joanne, for those
Yes,
answers that you have given us. And now
yes,
let's go to this part that we ignore. And I have never seen anyone, and especially our pastor, talking about it. And
yes,
please, Sikutapi, I am not here to crucify you or to throw
yes,
stone at you. It's because
yes,
you are a pastor right now. Nimekuweka hapa. I have put you here so we
mm,
can hear, your
yes,
views and your
exactly.
opinions, your point,
Mm,
you standing there because you were there, you are a
yes,
pastor.
mm,
When it comes to infidelity,
yes,
we never mention about that verse whereby God says, in case of infidelity, adultery,
yes, yes,
a
Apostle. Yes,
woman or a husband can divorce
exactly.
their wife or their husband.
Mm,
Okay, here we are. We
mm,
have it's like we have normalized it. Every
yes,
time a woman complain about being cheated, what do
yes,
we say? Even ndivyo wanaume wako, but the Bible doesn't say
yes,
that's how men are. All men should cheat and it should be okay. The God
yes,
Himself said,
mm,
and I mean, a wife or a husband should be
yes,
given a divorce in case
mm,
one of them
of,
is cheating.
yes,
But here we
exactly. Mm,
and
mm,
I am sorry. I know those who knows
mm.
me, they know I really mimi these things I will talk and I will talk until sauti yangu izime. Cause
Ah,
we cannot pick uh, vitu zenye zinakufavor and then
mm,
unaacha zingine. When I
yes,
come
yes,
to you as a pastor, because we have seen women who report
mm,
to our pastors, our
mm,
parent, each and
mm,
every time, like maybe my husband akona wasichana watatu.
yes,
And when I
mm,
come to you, you are
yes,
not even seeing the pain that I'm because
mm,
mapenzi na uchungu. Love
yes.
is pain at the same time. If I see my
Yes,
husband
it
cheating on me,
is.
I'm gonna have to go through pain and a lot of tears. So when I
Not
come to
just
you as a
pain, but jealousy too. Mm,
as a
mm,
pastor, you are not seeing the agony I am
mm,
going through for being cheated.
mm,
The
mm.
only consolation you're going to give me is men are like that. So
Yes,
are
yes.
we condoning this cheating thing? And we don't even call men to tell them, hey, listen.
Mm,
Hata hatunanga ile basi we call them and say, you
mm,
have to stop
mm.
this behavior, like kuambia mwanaume you have to stop cheating for this marriage
Yes,
to continue. But
yes,
everything it's all about woman. When a
yes.
marriage fail, even when we are being abused, let me ask you, let me
Mm,
take
mm.
you back a
Yeah,
little bit. When you
yes,
separated with your husband, did your
yes.
husband position in church changed? Was he treated
No,
different? Ama yake ili remain?
no, he didn't. He was not treated lesser. In fact, people were supporting him more than me. I'm the one who did what was wrong.
And you are the
By, yes, I'm the victim. I was the victim. Now, with the way you are talking about on the issue of infidelity and all that,
victim.
that's what I'm telling you. That I think the people who came with that gospel, they came with gospel that would favor only one side and not favor the other side, because the
Mhm.
Bible does not say whether a man or a woman does, or both. So
Mhm.
long as you have done it, that is evil. So when a
Yeah.
man does it, people say, "Ati yeah." hafanyi nini, ni nature ya wanaume. But when a woman does it, you now become an outcast in the society, that wewe umefanya kitu kibaya sana.
Tena.
It's like you are not a human being. You are
Mhm.
not, you become an animal. I don't know if it is an animal or what do they see.
Mhm.
But the truth is, uh, to me, I've come to realize that God does not show partiality to anybody. Everybody, He treats you the same, whether
That's
you are a woman or you are a man. In fact, hata nikiongezea, women, because of their cry and everything, God hears them more than even men. I would even think that if a woman messes up or nini, wanamrudisha kwa upole, kwa ile nini,
mhm.
kuliko kumtupa na kumwonyesha ati sasa yeye hafai.
Yeah.
Unajua, mtu ukimwonyesha upendo, hata kama ni maovu, baada anarudi tu anaonyesha kwamba it's okay. So
Mhm.
to me, the church, when people decide not to, when they only look at one place, they
Mhm.
don't stop the pastor from ministering. They only stop the woman from ministering, because I was
Mhm.
expecting, because now we have separated. Even him, he should not be given pulpit. But that is when people gave him pulpits to go and continue preaching. Though right now I heard that he no longer has a church, though I don't follow up on him so much. But to me, nobody wanted to associate with me. The women thought of I'm doing something that was not very good. So
Mhm.
what I'm saying, the society should not just condemn the woman. Infidelity is to both, whether you are a man or you
Or
are a
a
woman.
woman.
If
Mhm.
you mess up, you have done wrong. It is the word of God. It has never specified and say the woman alone or the man alone. It is all. So long as you have done it, then that one you are given a permission to separate.
Wow. Okay, thank you so much for that, Pastor Joanne. And I also have uh, two more questions or two more
Yes,
things
yes,
I would like to point out, and I want you to tell us what you take about it.
yes,
In our African setup, because
yes,
I am talking about African because I am an African, I am
yes,
Kenyan. Right now, I'm
yes,
in America, and I have seen ourselves. I mean, I have seen them doing things totally different, completely
mm,
different from what we
yes,
believe in and what we
mm,
do.
mm,
We do have these things that are being said every time a woman try to complain about the abuse that they go
yes,
through.
mm,
Uh, Most likely you will find Mitabi that telling you, Joan,
yes,
hivyo ndivyo ndoa ziko, ndoa ni kuvumilia.
mm, mm,
Number
mm,
two,
mm, mm,
nitakwambia it rains
mm.
everywhere, hakuna mwanaume mzuri.
Yeah,
And these two things, they have
mm,
made women really suffer.
mm,
There is that one person, maybe at the age of 20, 25, you know, that
yes,
age like whereby
mm,
we now start taking relationship seriously.
yes, yes,
And
yes,
then they will see that red flag. But
yes,
because we have been tuned or we have been made to believe that even ndivyo ndoa ziko. You know, you may
mm,
see
mm,
that one red flag mapema sana, but you will end up
yes,
assuming, but this is
yeah,
how men are, but this is
yeah,
how relationship or marriages are. How
yes,
are we going to change these things, like, and make our girls or our men be able
mm,
to run for their life, to know who they are, to know their worth? Like when you get hit once in that
mm,
courtship, in that
mm,
relationship, please
mm,
do not think like tukioana atabadilika.
exactly.
Mkiona, that is when you become a drum or a punching
Yeah,
bag.
mm,
If
mm,
he's even abusing you like financially during
yeah,
courtship, like kila mahali mkienda, you are the one
mm,
unarudi kwa mfuko. You know, there is no
yes,
any time he is offering or she is offering. Just know
yes,
you're putting yourself in a danger. So I want
exactly.
you to talk to us about these two things. Kwenye
Mm,
unaambiwa it rains everywhere, na hii ingine
mm,
wenye when you try to live your marriage you've been told
mm,
hivyo ndivyo ndoa ziko, ndoa ni kuvumilia.
mm. That red flag that you're speaking about before courtship, when
Mhm.
you see a man hitting you or when you see a man cheating on you during courtship, that's
Yeah.
already a red flag. that you should run for your life. Take
Mhm.
care as much as you can, because that one already shows you the character of that person
Mhm.
before you enter into that marriage. If you see anything that shows you that now this man is doing that, or this woman is having this relationship, don't wait until that day yenye utasema kwamba ati atakuja kubadilika. I did that, and
Mhm.
that is what happened to me when we were doing the courtship. In fact, I thought, because I'm an intercessor, that
Mhm.
I will just pray and this man changes. There are characters that are just inbuilt. There are behaviors that are just inbuilt, that
Mhm.
somebody might not change. It only grows.
Mhm.
He or she might start with a slap, and it ends up being a hit by a stick, by a metal, by a panga. It might start like kissing and doing what to people, hugging aimlessly and doing touching the sensitive parts of somebody. And
Mhm.
you say, maybe it's just a normal touch, but it will go to an extent of having something else, maybe going in bed. And then number two, the way you are saying that people say it rains everywhere. It does not rain everywhere. That
Thank
is a
you.
statement that is not a statement that people just want to justify their deeds, their
Mhm.
evil deeds, and
Kabisa.
they don't want you to open up your understanding to know that now this is what happens to others, because they try to hide it from
Mhm.
you, so that when you, instead of going to see what others are doing, you just go with that assumption that it rains everywhere. No, it does not rain everywhere. We have seen people who have remained faithful to their partners. We have seen people who have stayed in marriages and they have never hit their wives. We
Mhm.
have seen people who are now dying, and they can even tell you, I've never touched any other girl apart from my wife.
That's
So
true.
to me, that it's like a myth. To me, it's like
Mhm.
something that's not the truth.
And also we have seen women or men
Mm.
who their first marriage never worked, and
Yes,
they
exactly.
separated, and right now
Yes,
they are
mm,
happily married somewhere else.
exactly.
And
Mm,
I personally believe, God talked to us in so many ways. Maybe
exactly.
that red flag you are refusing to observe. Maybe it is
Yes.
God telling you, hey, Joan, run.
Yes,
You
exactly.
know, that one red flag, Mungu tu anajaribu kukuonyesha, this is the kind of man you are dating. Run, don't,
Yes, run.
we
Mm,
ignore them. I
yes.
would not even call them red flags. I would call them
Yes.
like God trying to warn you, God trying to speak
Yeah.
to you,
Mm,
like, hey,
mm,
Joanne, please wake up. Hey,
yes.
Tab, please, that is not the man I have for you. Because let me
Yes.
tell you, there is this thing that I have come to realize: God is
Mm.
God, he never changes. If
He
I
never changes.
nice. And
Mm,
sometimes we put, when you try to force things, you're trying
yes.
to force issues, even when God is trying to warn you, He will let you
Yes.
in. I end up
Yeah, he will let you.
you will let
Exactly.
it in because it's like you
Mm.
want to use your own power, but you don't want
Power.
to use the knowledge that the God has given you. So let me
Very
tell you,
true.
you will go into that marriage. Maybe mzazi amekukataza, that pastor amekwambia no. You
Mm,
yourself, even your own instincts is telling you no, because
mm.
we don't like to listen to our instincts. We want to
Yes.
force it. Then
Mm,
when you go there, because it
mm.
was not meant to be, God Himself did
Mm.
not ordain it. Let me
Yeah.
tell you,
Mm.
utafast, utaenda kwa milima, utawait
Yes.
so many
Exactly.
years,
Mm.
so
Mm.
many years, and it will never
Mm.
change until the
It
day you will
won't.
move, and then God will take you where He wanted you to be.
It's
So
true. Very true.
sometimes we are wasting so much time. Sometimes we are ignoring God. And I will say, I
Mm.
think it's very, very
Mm.
important to
Mm.
consult God.
Exactly.
Sometimes
Mm.
even
Mm. Mm.
a no to God, ama saa zile ako quiet, it could be a
Mm.
no. So
Yeah, it
don't
could be anyone.
assume. It could
Mm.
be a
Mm.
no.
Mm.
Joan, kabla
Yes.
tufunga, I know we have a lot. Maybe you can give me another opportunity. We can come back
Exactly.
maybe on Monday and now talk to our parent. Cause
Exactly.
pia hawa
Mm.
wanatulazimisha kwa ndoa zenye hazifai. It's a high
Yes.
time we let them
Mm.
know
No,
you
yes.
would
Mm.
rather have a single daughter with
Dora.
six,
Mm.
five kid, whatever when
Yes,
you
exactly.
rather
Mm.
than, you know, have a
Mm.
grave. Have a
Yeah.
grave
Have a
in your
grave.
big
Yes.
shamba or
Mm.
whatever it is. Juu
Yes.
ya kitu tu ungeambia mtoto wangu, my daughter please come.
Yes.
If I
Exactly.
sleep hungry, we sleep hungry all together, me, you,
Yeah. All together.
and my
Mm.
grandchildren. So there is
Yes.
one thing I want you to talk to us before we close. Tutakuja Monday, if you allow me.
Yes. Yes. It's okay.
Let us talk, tell us about those people.
Mm.
Because when I go through this social media, when I talk to people that I have talked to, we
Mm.
have these people who are like, I'm maybe in tabs. Even
Yes.
if you, Joanne, you have opened up to me what you're going through, the
Yes.
the the turmoil, the tears,
Mm.
the
Yes. Mm.
agony, or call
Mm.
name them all. I would
Yes.
rather see you happy married na
Yes.
nisikwambie cooling Joanne, please,
Mm.
please.
Mm.
We have those people who have fear, like they believe, this is what I
Mm.
came to realize. They believe that if
Mm.
I tell, because the Bible says the one who comes in between two people is
Two
dead.
people.
But I
Yes.
think
Mm.
kuna mahali watu wanakosa ku understand what that
Yes.
verse means. And because you are
Yeah.
pastor, I personally,
Exactly.
I mean, I know
Mm.
how I understand it is,
Mm.
if I meet someone who is married, and I
Yes.
know for sure this is a married man, and I continue
Yes.
dating him to a
Mm.
point amenioa nimeharibu hiyo boma, that is when I
Exactly.
believe I have
Mm.
become
Mm.
a death, because I
A
have
son. Yes. A
separated.
death. Mm.
In case I am
Mm.
just malicious, I am just
Mm.
jealous of seeing my friend happily married, and then I
Mm.
start maybe giving wrong information to either
Mm.
of the couple just to see them separated.
Mm.
I think
Mm.
that is where death
That is
comes in. But now
exactly.
we have these people who,
Mm.
no matter how much I cry to you,
Mm.
Joanne, even if you know my life is in danger,
Yes.
you will never tell me to walk away because unaogopa utakuwa
Yeah.
kifo.
Yes.
Can you
Mm-hmm.
can you talk to us about that?
Yeah. Out of my own experience,
Mhm,
most of the people didn't want to tell me to walk out of that marriage because
mhm.
they feared maybe I will they will be
Blamed.
what they will be blamed for that. But I
Mhm,
want to tell each and everyone, if you see somebody's marriage is not working, and you see especially violence is in that marriage more, where a woman will sleep outside, the man will hit that woman with a sufuria or use a stick or what. It is good to warn those people and tell them their life is much more precious. I don't see any problem if you warn somebody and tell him, no, I'm seeing this marriage is not working, because you are not okay jealous about it, but you are just feeling
mhm.
for that
Trying to save a life.
eh, trying to save her life. It's better you tell them than waiting until the time when they are all dead. It's when you are telling people. And I used to see, this is what used
Yeah.
to what used
Uh-huh,
to, there
uh-huh.
is a day, there is a day she came to sleep in my house. You start saying it after something bad has happened, but during the time when you would have helped. God does not allow
Anything.
you,
Mhm,
yeah, God does not allow you to see those things or to hear those things if He knows that He has not given you wisdom to help that person. He allows you to see that thing, to hear that thing, because He knows you are the solution to that thing. It is you to open up your thoughts and your mind and know that God is showing me this to help this family.
mhm.
It will be foolishness that you are helping people to fundraise for a funeral that has been caused by a man, and raise up children who are now orphans, or maybe they have been left, the father is in the prison and the mother has slept or has died, and you start donating some money for them. It is better you avoid that than now telling them at that time. It is better you avoid that which will affect you in the future and even be a burden to you in the future, and just
Mhm,
telling them at that particular time. So to me, let people speak. The women who are going through violence and they are in silence, I just urge them to speak about it. When you speak to
mhm.
somebody, that person might be an angel that is going to transform your life and help you go to the next
Absolutely.
level. That person can be an angel that God is going to use
Mhm,
and deliver you from that bondage that has taken you long, that maybe your parents could not have taken you through. the people who are around you maybe could not. That one angel might be sent by God to heal you and to help you.
All right. Thank you
Mm.
so much. And because we have talked about physical abuse,
Yes,
let's talk a little bit. Let's touch about emotional abuse because
yes, yes.
it's also taking people's life. And now I
Mm.
think now this is where people fear most,
Yes,
because you have not seen tabs being abused. You cannot
yes.
tell me to leave because you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
not seen the physical abused. But Joan, kuongea ukweli, we have
Mm.
now seen women, deciding to take their own life together with the children.
Exactly,
We have
exactly.
seen the
Mm.
husband deciding to take their own life together with the children. And
Yes.
you may be
Mm.
sitting there saying, "Oh, we have never had any quarrel in this
Mm.
house." But there
Yes,
were those emotional abuse whereby, Joanne, I came to
exactly.
you, I cried, and I told you my
Yes.
husband is A, B,
Mm.
C, and D. But you
Exactly.
know what,
Yes.
Joanne? This is
Mm.
where our society, and watu wengi, the families, the
Yes.
first question is he providing? Yes.
Mm. Yeah,
Is he
they do that.
beating you? No. Is he
Uh,
providing? Is he beating you? No. Then stick. Without
that's
understanding,
mm.
Joanne, what I can take, maybe you cannot take. Because we have
Exactly.
been created differently. We have those people who can beba kila kitu kwa mgongo.
Mm.
We have
Mm.
those
Mm.
people with like a heart of like a baby, whereby
Mm.
whatever, Joanne, you can stand, because
Yes.
like you have said, all the abuse you went through, mimi
Yes.
pengine mimi slap moja, I would be like, no,
Yes.
I can't na niende.
You can't. Mm.
So
Mm.
we also have to understand when someone
Yes.
come cry to you, you need to weigh, you need to listen,
Exactly.
you
Mm.
need to
Mm.
also to understand. Because
Mm.
me, I personally, and I am never shy to say this, and I'm saying this in front of a
Mm.
camera,
Yes.
I would rather see you walk away and then you two
Yes.
get together whatever, na
Mm.
nijuange at least nilikuwa nimekwambia. Me, I don't want to
Exactly.
be the one every time you cry,
Mm.
you come cry
Mm.
to me. I'm like, kaa
Yes.
tu,
Mm.
utabadilika,
Mm.
kaa tu.
Mm.
And then the
Mm.
following day in the morning, nikifungua
Yes.
my Facebook, I'm seeing Joanne
Imagine died
herself
because
and
of
her
me.
children.
Mm.
Is that, I
Mm.
mean, I would never want to live in such kind of guilt.
Exactly.
Cause
Exactly.
pia kuna ndoa mingi sana zimevunjika, not because these
Yes.
people are physically abusing each other, but
Yes.
kuna this abuse ziko tu kwa ndoa na ni
Mm.
mingi. So
Mm.
don't shy to
Yeah.
tell your sister, hey, even if you're not,
Yes. Mm.
because kuna hii controlling, like you
Mm.
cannot even talk to your own mother. You're being told,
Yes.
hii simu wachana na that is abuse.
Mm.
So
Mm. Mm.
why would I want my sister being married somewhere, hata hawezi ongea na mama yake, hawezi
Yeah.
ongea na sisi, the
Mm.
kids cannot even go see their Grammy or the extended family. That is an
Mm.
abuse.
Yeah. It's
Even
an abuse.
financial
Mm.
abuses, we have
Mm.
seen like women
Mm.
utachukua loan over
Mm.
another loan over another loan,
Another
wewe
one,
ndio,
yes.
but
Mm.
the moment pesa imefika kwa nyumba, hauna,
Ni ya
you
mzee.
have no
Mm.
power over
Mm.
that money. Then
Mm.
the bank
Mm.
will come over you, I mean, after
Yes.
you. Then when
Yes.
you can't pay, what happened? You kill yourself.
That's what I'm saying. Emotional abuse is one of the worst abuse, I might say, because
Mhm,
it eats from within. It
mhm,
is not something that is from outside. It eats from within. It eats the intestines. It eats the heart, the liver, and everything. It eats you from within. Why do I say this? I told you when I was going through the abuse.
mhm,
I remember there is a day that I just started walking. That day I was not beat by anything. But that emotional abuse whereby somebody just does something for you. Sometimes maybe you are in a meeting and somebody looks down on you, or he stands before people
mhm,
and tells you, what are you going to tell us? There's nothing
mhm,
you're going to tell us. And maybe those people had valued you. Maybe you are their leader. And then somebody just stands and does that to you and then tell you, sit down. That thing is so painful because you come from that meeting with that heart ikiwa imejikunja sana.
mhm,
So emotional abuse, it eats deeper. It eats the bones from within. I would say people should speak, because this is something that I'm not seeing. This is
Mhm.
something that I might say that I will see with my physical eyes and help you, like the physical abuse. It
Mhm.
is something that is eating you from within. Come,
Mhm.
talk to one or two people that you trust. Speak to them and let these people help you. I told you there are angels outside here that
Mhm.
have dealt with issues that God has just assigned for that specific period, for that specific moment. And in
Mhm.
fact, when you speak to somebody, it's like you get a healing. But these people who die, and sometimes you want to hide, you want everybody to know. And there is this culture where people have said, don't share your marital issues with somebody. Your marital issues, you are the two of you who build it. You don't want to share with somebody. That's
Mhm.
why most of the people take advantage of the others, because they know this person is not going to share what I'm
Yeah.
going to allow her
Mhm.
or him to go through. So they would rather inflict you with a lot of pain, talk to you rudely, beat you, do that, because they know you will not tell anybody. But it's
Mhm.
good sometimes somebody to get a warning that if he or she continues, like the way some organizations are coming in, if you threaten somebody, or maybe the way the government is coming in, if you hit a wife, there are some policies that have been put into structure
Mhm.
whereby they can even say that if you do this to somebody, then you are in for it, you'll be taken to jail, so that people may walk in that fear.
Mhm.
In church, people should speak this thing openly. Let bishops and pastors not hide it. In fact, okay, I was really encouraged this time when Osinachi died, that people started talking it. I saw some pastors speaking on Facebook, trying to trying to condemn that act. That act wasn't very good. I
Mhm.
like it when people stand and condemn that
Yeah.
man who has been hitting that woman, that man who has been taking that woman through emotional abuse. You heard of Osinachi, her cars were being taken, the two cars were taken from her, and yet she's the one who is eligible of driving them. That's emotional abuse. That one, when this woman is walking in the road, that
Mhm.
pain in her, she is going to minister, but she has a lot of pain. You might
Mhm.
see somebody worshiping in the presence of God, crying, thinking that maybe she is closer to God, but the woman is crying because of the problems she's going through. And
Oh yeah.
some of them even, yeah, fall down and do that, and you think maybe it is the power of God that has laid them down. But because of the situation they are going through, they even die. People decide to go for fasting. It is not fasting. Some of them are suicidal ways of just killing themselves. You get out of the sin and you go. So
Mhm.
before these things happen, before these people go to an extent of dying and and just taking out their lives, it's better people to talk. It's better the church to preach about it, those in authority to speak about it. The way you are doing on YouTube, people should come up, speak about it openly. Let us not
Mhm.
hide in that curtain where people are now here fearing, if I speak this thing, maybe this is what is going to happen. It's better you speak it out and heal that one man or that one woman, rather
Mhm.
than hiding it and you kill a congregation. Because when you kill that one, even the other souls, like
Mhm.
right now when Osinachi died, I know there are so many souls that were affected. And if
Yeah.
Osinachi, yes, but if Osinachi would have come out of that marriage, I think there are many who would also be feel encouraged and
Oh
even
yeah.
become
Oh yeah.
saved.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah. A lot. A lot. And actually, in if she came out like the way you have come out, you are a pastor.
Yes.
Right now, you're
Mhm.
talking to us. You are helping another woman out there.
Yes.
Maybe she's
Exactly.
not even a pastor, but she has that
Yes.
fear. What will
Yes.
people say?
People
What
say yes.
example will I set for
Mm.
my siblings? You know, what
Mm.
example will I set for my whole family, the entire society? You
And
need.
something Tabi, just to add on what you're saying, people forget that even in that negative situation, there are people who have come out and they are living a positive life.
Mhm.
There are women who have separated or divorced and they are living a better life.
Oh
more
yeah,
than the way they
oh
use.
yeah,
They are
definitely.
more productive. They are more influential than those who have been hiding in the name of what will the society say,
Mm-hmm,
standing in confidence and sometimes even risking just coming out.
mm-hmm.
Might even help you more and have that life that is much more better, much more peaceful, much more free than the
Mm-hmm.
life that you are trying to hide in the name of what will people say.
And even your children, you save
Even
them.
your
You save
children.
them from a lot.
Yes,
Because if you have a
yes,
son, you save
yes,
that son from seeing a
yes,
man hitting
yes,
a woman. So he will,
yes.
sometimes they grow knowing, hey, I can hit you because
Yeah,
I
I
saw
can do.
mom being
My
hit.
father beating,
Same,
yes, or my
same
mother
case
being beaten.
with your
Mm?
daughters. Your daughters
Yes.
will fall into
Mm.
a bad marriage, bad
Mm.
relationship because they're gonna
Mm.
be like, my mom was abused, so it is
Yeah,
normal.
exactly.
And when you
Exactly.
see me here
Mm.
on this
Mm.
YouTube channel, those are the
Yes.
things I
Yes.
wish we can change. I wish we can train the
Mm.
coming generation. Like it is
Yes.
not okay to be
It
abused.
is
It is
not.
not okay to be
It
hit.
is
For a
not. It
son, you
isn't.
do
Mm.
not hit a woman. Because let
Mm.
me tell you, you may see your mom
Mm.
being abused, and then
Yes.
you feel like I can overcome. And maybe
Yes.
for you, utapata tu just one slap, and then you are
Yes.
gone.
You are gone.
Because
Exactly.
I
Mm.
have seen
Mm.
we are all different. There are
We are
someone
all different.
we are all created different. So
Mm.
don't
Mm.
get that slap and be like, hey,
Mm. Yeah.
attach to please
Yeah.
speak up. And one thing I know
Okay.
also, if a man
Yes.
hits you and you keep quiet, they take
Yes.
advantage of that.
They take
If
advantage of you.
if
Mm.
and women too, if a woman hit a man and that man don't talk, and there's, men too don't talk, they keep so much, and then at the
Mm.
end of the day tunapata amechoma nyumba, amechoma the whole
Yes.
family.
Yes.
Because
Mm.
when that trigger come in, when they cannot keep it anymore, they snap. And when
Yeah.
someone snap, there is no reverse gear. It is
Exactly.
there
Mm.
and there and there.
Yeah.
So I know we still have a lot to talk about
Yes.
this relationship and marriage.
Yes.
This topic
Yes.
is really broad. And like
Yeah.
I
It's
have
broad.
said, we will come back on Monday. We still have a
Yes.
lot to talk, and I wish we can get more parent. We want to talk to
Yes.
you,
Mm.
wazazi. Yeah,
Yes.
don't,
Mm.
in case you were abused, please let your
Yes.
daughter know this is
Yeah.
not that time.
It
Kama
is not. Yeah.
haukujua, please
Mm.
just
Mm.
today
Yeah.
watu wanajua. Nowadays people are.
Wanaojua. Yes. Mm.
In
Mm.
case your daughter come cry to you and says she's
Mm.
going through ABCD, please don't tell her because you're not being hit katu.
Mm. Mm.
Hai,
Mm.
hai,
Mm.
atachomwa.
Mm.
If not
Yeah.
kuchomwa, and by the way, we have
Mm.
seen like if you keep telling me to stay, to stay, to stay,
Mm.
and
Mm.
you are my mother, when I come to
Yes.
you telling me go back and vumilia,
Mm.
I may
Mm.
feel like I have nowhere to go. My mom
Yeah,
does
I
not.
have nowhere to go. Yes. Very
My
true.
mom does not
Very true.
accept me.
Mm.
So if my
Yeah.
mom is telling me to stay, who else will accept? My sisters definitely know,
Yes.
my friends
Mm.
definitely know. And then you
Mm.
feel like this is the end of the world. I will
Exactly.
take whatever I need to take for me to
Mm.
sleep
Mm.
together with my children. So
Exactly.
be careful. If you are a
Yes.
mom, if you are a father, if
Mm.
you are a friend, if you're a friend, at
Mm.
least please even host them for a week.
Yes.
Me,
Yes.
I believe, Pastor
Mm.
Joan, even
Yes.
that break. If a
Mm.
friend come cry to me and
Mm.
nione kile anapitia mimi siwezi. I
Yes.
can even please, do you mind coming to my house for
Yeah,
just
to my house. Yes.
relax,
Mm.
relax?
Mm.
And
Mm. Mm.
during those 2 weeks, you may even realize, like, tabs, hata ni mimi
Mm.
nakuanga na makosa. Kumbe ni
Na
mimi
makosa. Exactly. Mm.
hivi
Mm.
hivi
Mm.
hivi and hivi.
Mm.
So even by the time I'm going back, I have
Yes.
realized my mistake. And maybe those 2 weeks,
Mm.
maybe
Yes.
pengine kama huyo mtu angekapo, the pressure itself ingekuwa
Yes.
something yenye you cannot even reverse. So don't
Very
even be
true.
fearful to ask someone,
Mm.
please, just
Mm.
come, think.
Yeah.
You want
Yeah.
to go back,
Think.
and if in case you have ever tried to help someone who is going through abuse, and then after
Yes.
a week, a month, those people get
Mm.
together, please don't feel guilty. Don't feel bad
Yeah.
about it.
Mm. Mm.
Walk
Mm.
away
Mm.
knowing at
Yeah.
least you tried.
I
That
helped. Yes.
I have
Mm.
seen on social media people saying watu wawili wamejifunika na blanketi moja.
Blanketi
Guys,
moja.
let
Yeah,
them
I've
get
heard of it.
together.
Mm. Mm.
But you
Mm.
did your
Mm.
part. In
You
case
did your
something
part.
happened to them, you will know at
Yes.
least I
Yeah,
tried.
you tried. Yeah,
If that
exactly.
person decide and God trust you, ulikuwa unaniambia nitoke kwa bwana yangu, please don't
Mm.
feel bad about it. You were
Very
just
true.
trying
Mm.
to save a life rather than
Alive.
huyo mtu
Mm.
auliwe ama ajiue and then utaanza
Mm.
kutype kwa social media, rest in peace, rest in
That
peace.
imagine, rest in peace. Yeah,
And then
we loved you.
thinking, I
Mm.
wish I said something. I wish I offered her my house. In case
Yeah.
you have
Mm.
friend na
Mm.
ameachwa na bwana yake, please
Mm.
as a wife, because let's say I am I am personally happily married. If
Yes.
I
Mm.
see someone has been divorced, even if my
Yes.
husband tell me wacha kuongea na huyo mwanamke cause amekuwa
Mm.
divorced
Mm.
atakufunza,
Mm.
please
Mm.
do not
Mm.
listen to that. Remember,
Yeah.
you could
Mm.
be in the same statistic.
You
Instead,
can. Anything can
support
happen to
that
anybody
woman.
at any time. Mm.
Yes, support
Mm.
that woman, support those kids,
Mm.
because also
Mm.
wanawake wengi wako na ile fear, nikitoka
Mm.
then what
Mm.
next, because we're not supporting them. In case
Yeah.
you can buy them sukari, unga,
Yes.
peleka,
Yes.
please.
Mm.
Let not
Mm.
invite these people for dinner, have food with them.
Exactly.
Don't just
Exactly.
see her as a
Mm.
husband snatcher. And by the way, your
Mm.
husband is the problem here. In case
Mm.
atachukua rafiki yako cause amekuwa divorced, do not blame
Hey.
the woman, blame your
Mm.
own husband.
Hey,
Cause
blame the husband. Mm.
so guys, it has and
Yes.
not the end. Like we have said, we will come back on Monday. Please
Yes.
share the video. Let women know we are here to support them. In case you know someone going through a tough time, you have Pastor Joan here,
Yes.
who I
Yes. Yes.
know can support them, and especially with the word
Exactly.
of mouth. You know, ile tu
Yes.
counseling,
Mm.
ile tu
Yes.
kumwambia mimi nilitoka, it's gonna be okay.
Mm.
By the way, so many
Yeah.
people want to be told it's gonna be okay.
It's gonna be okay. Yes.
Aje,
Mm.
hiyo tu mwambie things will be okay. Those
Okay.
are the
Yeah.
things that so many want to hear out there. They don't want negativity. Mwambie
Yeah. They do.
nilitoka na watoto sita and I am
Mm.
okay.
And I
Because
am
the
okay.
time,
Mm.
Pastor, we have
Mm.
pegged our hopes on
Yes.
this man, then
Yeah.
we focus our hopes on God. Yani
On
unafikiria
God. Exactly. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm. Mm.
Unasahau Mungu wako is the biggest provider. Your
Exactly.
God is the greatest lover and he will
Oh,
be
yeah.
there. He will not
Mm.
abandon you. Maybe
Mm.
whatever you are going through, he is telling you that is
Yeah.
not where you are supposed to be, pastor. Move,
Yes.
move, keep moving.
Mm.
So,
Mm.
jiamini, first of all, jiamini.
Mm.
If you
Yeah.
sleep
Jamil.
hungry today, it does not
Mm.
mean you're gonna be hungry tomorrow.
Very true. Very true.
So,
Very
guys,
true. Mm.
let's meet again
Mm.
on Monday. Let's keep
Yes.
talking. Let's encourage those women who are single, who have been divorced,
Yes.
those women who are widow and widower too. Hata pia wao wanawekwa kando, which is
Yeah.
I don't
Mm.
know. It's
Mm.
but anyway, let's see
Yeah.
each other on Monday. Thank you so much, Pastor Joan, and
Thank
thank you
you.
for talking to us, with a lot of courage. And I hope
Welcome.
utaruhusiwa mawe kwa kutuambia tutoke if it is wapi. And
Mhm.
guys, like we have said, my pastor and myself, when we
Yes.
go, we present ourselves before God, we present ourselves individually.
Exactly.
So
Individually.
sometimes it is not everything my pastor is telling me
Mm.
I should take. You should
Mm.
also make your own right decision
Eh,
depending on
decision.
how you feel.
Mm.
Also
Mm.
consult God, because we have also made our
Exactly. Mm.
pastor, our
Mm.
spiritual fathers, like our
Mm.
own God.
Oh,
Akisema
good. Yeah.
hivi, without
Mm.
even consulting my God, akiniambia niolewe na fulani, it has to be that
Mm.
way. Without
Mm.
even me consulting my God, am I
Mm. Mm.
in the right route?
Yeah.
Thank you so
Very
much,
true.
Pastor. It was an honor to have you. Thank you for
Mm.
your word. Thank you for
Welcome. Mm.
your advice. We take it positively. I personally am
Thank
taking
you.
it positively.
Thank
And
you so much.
until next Monday, guys, like I said, I did a
Mm.
video before this one. It was all
Mm.
about HIV and AIDS. If you
Mm.
can help share that video, because we are trying to talk to people and especially young ones about engaging themselves in
Mm.
relationship without having getting tested, or
Yes.
those people who just look at a man or a woman and say, huyu hakai kuwa mgonjwa, and then you
Mm,
find yourself, oh my God.
mm,
So help me share that video so that it can reach to many people. And
mm.
even if it doesn't, we don't save 100 life, we can save
Exactly.
just
One.
one soul.
Exactly.
It
One
counts.
soul.
Same
It
case
can.
with this video that I have done with Pastor Joan. If
Yes.
it does not save 100 women and men who are in abusive relationship, just
Yes.
one, kuna mtu ataona, oh, this was a pastor na
Yes.
alitoka, you know,
Yes. Mm,
akuwe tu na hiyo
mm.
courage. That
Yes.
is that is our motto. Our goal is
Amen.
not to break marriage, but to
No.
save life. I am
Mm-mm.
personally married, so I have no reason to advocate
No.
for
For
divorces for that. But again,
very
I
true.
will not
Mm.
sit and advocate or condone abusive
That's
and bad marriages. Sawa
exactly.
sawa, guys. Stay tuned,
Mm.
continue subscribing. And thank you for those who have subscribed. In case you are watching these videos and you haven't, kindly subscribe and share these videos with others. Until next time, God bless you and I love you all. Goodbye.
Bye.